How did I go from failing the Army's fitness test 6 times to becoming a U.S. Army Master Fitness Trainer? How? Here's how. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the first episode of Mega Talk. I am your host, Coach Mills, Herman Mills. I am the one that's going to be guiding you through these series. So thank you for tuning in or watching the very first episode of Mega Talk. So, how did I fail the Army's fitness test 6 times? All right, let's go take a little trip down memory lane. So, I graduated from high school 2001. In high school, I was not the biggest guy. I was about 90 pounds soaking wet. I was skin and bones. If I took a deep breath, you could see my heartbeat. I was just about the smallest guy in everything I did. So I played sports in school. I'll take you down my career highlights. I played baseball, I played basketball, and I played football. So career highlights: baseball. I think I hit maybe like 2 balls, and I played for a year. Basketball, career highlights: 1 3-pointer. I was that guy on the team that if somebody was getting double teamed and I was open, they would just pass it to the other team. They already knew what it was. Football, 1 fumble recovery. That's my highlight. And I believe we lost that game too. So my help didn't help. Like I say, smallest guy, everything I did. I weighed 90 pounds. But I will like to say that I believe I had the biggest heart though. You couldn't tell me that I was like 5 foot nothing, weighed nothing. Like I had, in my mind, I'm the biggest guy out there. I had heart. I've been practice. They used to do me in. I used to get ran over, all that good stuff, right? Still went back out there. Didn't grow up in the greatest of neighborhoods, and I'm not going to sit here and say I was the greatest kid. I wasn't. I definitely gave my village, and when I say my village, it's not just your parents' areas. You know, it's got your parents, different family members, cousin, aunts, my sister. You know, I gave them a run for their money. I was not the greatest kid growing up, but I was also not in the best of neighborhoods. But also that neighborhood humbled me very, very much. So I wanted to get out the situation I was in. More about my situation on another episode. That's for a later topic or a later date. I decided to join the Army. Long story short, I decided to join the Army. I wanted to get away. I wanted to make a difference in my life. And so I was like, join around. Now, let's paint the picture. During this time, there's really no war or anything going on. I'm joining the Army. I'm like, man, I'm going to get this college money. That's my mindset, right? I'm going to go get this college money. I'm going to, join the Army, be all I can be. That's what the slogan was then. So when you join the Army, obviously you go through basic training and you're required to do certain things. One thing that you have to do and pass is the Army. They call it the Army Physical Fitness Test. All right, now that's what it was called back then. Now it's called the Army Combat Fitness Test. All right, but we're talking about the Army APFT, the Army Physical Fitness Test. Now, that test consists of 2 minutes push-ups, 2 minute sit-ups, and a 2-mile run. So, basic training. In basic training, you only have to get 50% in each event. Now, the Army standard is 60% in each event. Now, we're going to get to the 60%, but when you're in basic training at that time, in 2001, the standard was you have to get at least 50% to graduate basic training. All right, so you get 3 PT tests, or Yeah, we're gonna say it. PT test in basic training. I failed my first two terribly. I was trying my best for the drill sergeants not to know me by name, but by me failing the test, they knew me by name. I was doing every time they see me, I was doing push-ups or sit-ups or something along those lines. And mind you, I hated anything to do with fitness. I didn't want to do it. Like you tell me to do a push-up, I almost wanted to cry. And that's how bad it was in my mind for me. So let's just say I failed the first two. Now, the third one that I needed to pass in order to graduate basic training, you could say I passed. I met the 50% standard. I got a 50% in each event. Now, take you back. If you fail one event, then you fail the whole test. So let's say you passed a run, you fail sit-ups, you fail the whole test. You have to pass all three events. So at that point in time, I did pass the basic training standard at the 50%. Then you go on to what we call AIT, your advanced individual training. There, I'm learning my job. I'm learning all these different things, to further my career in the Army. There, to graduate there, you have to get the Army standard of 60% in each event, right? So I'm in AIT, and AIT for me was in Virginia, Fort Lee, Virginia. And to backtrack a little bit, I did my basic training in Fort Knox, Kentucky. From what I understand, they don't do basic training there no more, but that's where I was. So Fort Lee, Virginia, same thing. You're going to get 3 PT tests. I failed the first 2. I failed the first 2 PT tests. I got the 50% that basic training standard, but that don't fly in AIT. You have to get 60%. So, long story short, I wanted to graduate. I wanted to get out of AIT. I gave everything I had. And when I say everything I had, I gave every bit of my soul to that PT test. Like when I came in for the 2-mile run, I threw up. I threw up. I gave everything. Threw up, almost passed out, but I got to 60%. Pass, right? So from AIT, you go to your first duty station, your permanent duty station, right? My first duty station was Fort Drum, New York, the land of the cold. It was freezing there. It was already snow on the ground. I think it was somewhere at the end of December, early January time frame, something like that, right? And by me saying that, that was pretty much the kickoff of, Afghanistan. So when I get there, you're at a new place. They don't know me. I don't know them. One of the first things you have to do is take a PT test. It's freezing there. I think it was negative something. I'm a tropical guy. I never seen negative on a scale before. It was, man, I was freezing. I'm Galveston, Texas. I think at that time in my life, we seen snow maybe one time, right? It's freezing. I'm not used to that. So I take my PT test. And I fail. Are we starting to see a pattern here? It was just so cold. I couldn't handle it. I failed the push-ups, I failed the sit-ups, and I definitely failed the run. And I'll tell you, I walked on the run. It was so cold. I couldn't even get my body warm. It was terrible. So I took that first one. They put me on a program. So you're going to do extra PT. You're going to be working out in the mornings. You're going to be working out in the afternoon. And then we're going to send you over to Afghanistan. The unit was already in Afghanistan, but, just certain things you have to do before you go over there. I didn't pass my PT test. Went over there, same thing. They wanted me to do my best to work out, but it was Afghanistan, so it's kind of weird there. More on that later. We're not talking about that right now. But went over to Afghanistan, came back. Now I got to take my second PT test. I'm even more out of shape now because I wasn't doing as much over in Afghanistan than I really could have. We had other missions and other things we had to get done. So they scheduled me for my second PT test. I failed it. Now, so same thing. I failed everything. Now, in the Army, now we're real Army now. Like I'm at my permanent duty station. I'm in the real Army. There's no more basic training. There's no more AIT. Now this is the real Army. I'm done with training. I am a full soldier now. I have graduated all my courses and classes that makes me a U.S. Army soldier. I'm a U.S. Army soldier now. So now I have one more PT test to fail or they're going to kick me out. And I'm going to be shipped right back home to Galveston, Texas. So I started working out every single day. I had no guidance at that time. Shout out to the leadership that was terrible back then. I had some, don't get me wrong, I had some guidance, but not the guidance I believe I needed. So I just started working out every single day, just working out, lifting weights, running, not no real plan, not anything. I just, every day, no days off, which is terrible, no days off, just going hard. So let's just like, I passed that PT test to stay in the Army. And then after that, I passed every single one. But let me bring you to how I passed them. I would still just work out every day. And then I guess when you do something every day, it becomes like second nature. Like you don't question it. You just know you got to do it. Like you just know you have to do it. I know there was nothing for me back at home. I haven't had an opportunity to go to college or anything, get any type of education. The thing that I initially joined the Army for, it just was nothing there. Even my parents was at the time was like, you make a better life for yourself. And, I did that. I kept working out. So this is how, for years, and people don't believe me when I tell you that for years, this is how I took my PT test. Every time someone would grade my push-ups, sit-ups to my run. So I go down, I'll do the 2-minute push-ups, right? I just look at the grader and say, did I pass? They give me the thumbs up or head nod, yeah, you passed. For whatever reason, back then, they didn't count out loud, like how many push-ups you're doing. I just went up there and just started pushing. Same thing with sit-ups. I just went up there and just started doing the sit-ups. Now, sit-ups, and this, once again, a topic for another day, the worst ab workout you could possibly do. We'll talk about that but the sit-ups is a terrible workout. I don't know why we was doing it. We don't do it anymore, thank God, but that is a terrible, terrible exercise, especially for your abs. It's terrible for your lower back. But let me get back on subject. I would just look up at the grader and be like, hey, did I pass? The grader give me the thumbs up. 2-mile run. I would run with my head down. I didn't notice if I was passing anybody, whatever. I would just run. And then as soon as I would see the grader, I made eye contact with the grader. Did I pass? Gave me the thumbs up. That's all I care about. For years, I never looked at my PT score. I just wanted to know that I passed. Once I knew I passed. But throughout those years, anytime someone would say, hey, Mills, you got a PT test, I would get the butterflies in my stomach. Sometimes I would try to make an excuse like I do not want to take this. It got to a point that I didn't know how to take when people would say, because people would say, hey, we got a PT test tomorrow. And I would say stuff like, oh, man, I hope I pass. I don't think I'm going to pass. And be like, yeah, right, you're going to smoke it. Now, you're going to kill the PT test. Mills, what you worried about? You're going to max the thing out. I would always take that as they're just trying to encourage me. I didn't know. I just took it as that. Then I would get, yeah, you're going to fail. And then I would be like, man, they really don't believe in me. You get both ends of the spectrum. But sometimes, most of the time, I was getting, oh, you're going to kill it or you're going to max it, man. Look at you. Like, when you look at yourself every day, sometimes you don't notice the transformation. Like nowadays, we got all kinds of phones and everything's getting recorded. I didn't record myself or take pictures of myself or anything like that. So I never seen a big change in anything that I was doing. So for years, I would just take my PT test, ask the grader, did I pass? Got the thumbs up. That's all I cared about, right? 2014. It was either 13 or 14. I know I get my dates mixed up. I've been in the Army for a long time. I was in Korea, and they had this master fitness training school coming. Well, the teachers, the instructors were coming to Korea, and they wanted a certain amount of soldiers to train to how to be master fitness trainers. Now, Army's master fitness trainers are pretty much personal trainers just for the U.S. Army. We don't, not to go to any outside source, but they know how to train for the Army, right? No one really wanted to go to the school. At that time, my commander was like, hey, Mills, you going to master fitness trainer school? I was like, yeah, right. Like, out of all 100-something people here, and there's units bigger than 100, but that time my unit was just maybe like 100-something people. And they was like, hey, Mills, you going to master fitness trainer school? I'm like, out of all these people, why me? Well, you have the highest PT score. Like, boy, if people don't know how to lie. Once again, for years, I never looked at my PT score. Never looked at it. When they would get it to me, I just would like put it in a binder or something, or take it to my admin people and let them deal with it. I never looked at my PT score. I may have glanced at it a few times, but never like really dissected. You know what I mean? So I started looking back at my history of PT scores. I even looked at a picture of myself like at that time recently, and looked at a picture of when I joined, and it was almost like looking at two different people. Like, I had no idea like the transformation that I did, how better I got, how in shape I was, if you could say that, but I didn't have the guidance. I went to Master Fitness Trainer School, and man, that was the biggest eye-opener to what I wanted to do. And right then and there, after that course, I want to say from day one in that course, I really started to fall in love with fitness, nutrition, and my family played a big part in it too. Once again, there's going to be many mega talks. This is just the first episode, but you're going to hear all about these different stories that I'm telling you that I'm going to get back to. But it was very eye-opening. It was like, bam. I was always looking, what am I supposed to do? What is my life supposed to be like? What do I love? And something that I never thought I would fall in love with, I started falling in love with fitness. And then from there, that's all I wanted to do. And then from there, I kind of slowly over the years, like, man, I just want to help other people. So I say that to say this. I don't want anyone to look at me like I never had any struggles with fitness. People that know me know the struggles I went through. There are certain people that know my complete journey. There was a lot of ups and downs. And through these little podcasts that I'm going to do, you'll hear those stories of how I overcame certain things throughout my career. And heck, I've still overcome certain things. But no one should go through life thinking they can't. Hence for my business, Mills Mega Fitness. The mega standing for making every goal achievable. It is achievable. Sometimes you just need the guidance, a pep talk, or just someone just say you can do it. And if you ever need that, I'm looking at you right now, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And I know there's many stories out there like that, if I could do it, you could do it type stories. But I'm telling you, I came from it. I've seen other soldiers and other people and other clients that go through it. I've had clients come to me thinking they would never be able to change, that there's no way I could help them. And honestly, through my program, I just showed them that it was always inside of them anyway. Sometimes you just need to do something to pull it out of them. You know, you could do anything you put your mind to. And that is a quote that I've always gotten from my grandmother that sticks with me to this day. You could be anything you want to be. You could do anything you put your mind to. And I put my mind to it. I did it. You guys could do it too. Now, that is how I failed 6 Army fitness tests, but I also became a U.S. Army Master Fitness Trainer. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop. Consistency is everything. And then I learned my craft. I learned more about nutrition. I learned how to work out properly. Hey, you put your mind to it, you could do it. I would like to say thank you to everyone that just tuned in and participated in the first ever Mega Talk. There will be more coming on this platform. In the future, we will probably have guests or something like that. I will tell you one thing, we will not, for those of you who know me, there will be no appearances from my alter ego. He's going to be saved for the social media, you know, the Instagram, the IGs, the TikToks, all that good stuff. This is just a platform for me to come to you guys one-on-one, talk to you. I'm going to be giving classes on how you do certain things. I'm talking about how you can make time, certain workouts you should be doing. Hey, we may be just talking about what's going on in social media, what's trending. We may hit on a little sports now, but overall, we're going to talk about Mega Talk, making every goal achievable in your mind, muscle, lifestyle. Hey, I'm here to help. Feel free to ask any questions. But once again, y'all go out there and make every goal achievable.